We are here in the studio with Steve Gumble. So excited to have you.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we've just been talking a little bit about the Blues and Brews Festival coming up next weekend. Super excited. And I want to know a little bit about you and your background in Telluride before we get into the festival.
Well, I moved here, graduated from the University of New Hampshire in 1987 and moved out here for one ski season, which is, 31 ski seasons, 31 ski seasons ago. But yeah, so I just moved out to take a year off and kind of instantly fell in love with Telluride, which a lot of people do. And an opportunity arose to purchase a liquor store. So in the early 90s, purchased Telluride Liquors, which was my introduction to the craft beer industry, which was really starting to blossom in the early 90s. And spent a lot of time talking about a beer festival. We would go to the Telluride Wine Festival and decide that we were sick of wine and wanted to drink beer, and we'd go and did it for a couple of years. And so finally in 1994, after just talking about it, actually created the Telluride Brewers Festival. And then in 1997 it became the Blues and Brews Festival as we know it today.
And what led you to the decision to focus on blues music specifically?
Well, in college, one of my college roommates turned me on to Muddy Waters and just fell in love with it. And we already had a bluegrass festival, which was growing in popularity. And so I loved blues and brews. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it does sound great. It rolls off the tongue now.
Yeah, right. So that was my passion. I wasn't into bluegrass. I enjoyed bluegrass but my passion musically was blues. So I thought it complemented the already existent bluegrass festival, and we were opposite ends of the season. So saw some opportunity there.
And you guys run a couple other events around the region as well. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we just took over the Telluride Jazz Festival. This is our second year producing that. Paul Machado was the executive director, and Paul retired after the 40th year. And so after several years of negotiations, the board of directors hired SBG Productions, my company, to come in and produce the Jazz Festival. So that's super exciting for us because it's in our backyard, and we know all the good people like you guys that support us and help us, and we really want to pump some life back into the Jazz Festival. And then our other event, which is wildly popular, is down in Durango, which is the Durango Blues Train, and that's held every June and every August, and that's sells out instantly, tremendously popular and tremendous amount of fun. And it's 6 bands on the train. It moves, goes north towards Silverton, not all the way, and people dance and drink good microbrews and have the time of their life. It's really taken on a life of its own.
Yeah, that's a truly unique experience.
It is. It's really fun. We're looking to add another genre of music to it and maybe add at least one more weekend because it's just so popular now.
I would love to do it. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, once you do, you're hooked. So many people return. So
that's great.
Yeah.
So this year, you guys are starting something new and exciting, the Music Maker Relief Foundation. And It says it's dedicated to helping the true pioneers and forgotten heroes of Southern music gain recognition and meet their day-to-day needs.
Yeah, I met Tim Duffy, the executive director of Music Maker Relief Foundation in New Orleans, at the New Orleans Jazz Festival several years ago, and instantly fell in love with their mission statement. And Tim is just a tremendously compassionate and devoted music person, and spent the entire weekend with Tim going around and checking out all these kind of not so mainstream musicians and learning about Music Maker Relief. And Blues and Brews is successful enough that I really became passionate, and I knew that we could raise money for the Music Maker Relief Foundation. So they've been here. This is about the 3rd year that they've come. We hire some of their musicians that are healthy enough to travel. And so we really give that true blues experience at the blues stage in the park. But this year we've taken it to the next level. Each year we've been building our relationship, but this year we created a fundraising dinner, which sold out instantly. And there's 30 people, 30 lucky individuals that are coming in Thursday night before Blues and Brews, and they will be heading up to Studio in the Clouds, where they will actually sit in the studio with Pee Wee Hayes, who is on our cover. That's Pee Wee Hayes, and Pee Wee's gonna record a song in the studio, so everyone will walk away with a thumb drive with actually being in the physical studio watching someone record an album. And then Eliza Gavin from 221 is providing a 6-course meal, bar, wine, and a really unique evening. And through that we're going to be able to raise close to $20,000 for Music Maker Relief Foundation. So super excited. It sounds like a really fun experience. It's our first year, and like I said, it sold out instantly.
Yeah,
so
it's great music, great food, supporting a really great cause.
Yeah, he basically the mission statement for a music maker is to help preserve the aging and the less fortunate musicians of the South, so that their voices aren't silenced by poverty. So for those that need medical help, they get them medical help. I went out there and met the Glorifying Vine sisters, and I instantly bought carpeting for their entire church because they were so excited. They had found a building. The floors were rotting out of it. They had the floors fixed, and I bought all the carpeting. And so that's the kind of things that the Music Maker Relief Foundation does, and they're able to bring musicians out when they're healthy enough to places like Telluride. So we're fortunate as people attending the festival to be able to actually see these musicians that otherwise you may not. And those that can't travel, they get them medical help, they get them hot water in their homes, they get a roof on their house, and it's a whole realm. But it's such a beautiful mission statement that we're really embracing it and really love working with the Music Maker Relief Foundation.
That's really cool. So we got Robert Plant, we got J.J. Gray, we got
Ben Harper, but Charlie Musselwhite, Government Mule.
Yeah. Is there anybody maybe below? Oh, Samantha Fish. I love her.
Yeah, Samantha is our Anders Osborne, as we always call him, the king of Blues and Brews, and now Samantha Fish has kind of taken on the role as the queen.
Yeah, she rocks. She's
yeah,
so
people
cool.
just fell in love with her the first year. I don't typically book the same bands back to back, year to year. I like to keep it fresh and different. And but Anders Osborne and Samantha Fish, Anders has played more than any other musician, but Samantha's sort of taking on the female role of the festival, and we've had her for the last 3 years, I think, and Anders a ton. So Samantha's amazing.
So before we go, any maybe unknown or lesser known bands that you can recommend to the audience?
I think Valerie June is high on my list. She's got one of the most unique bluesy voices. It's just unique. I don't know how else to explain it. But when you hear Valerie June, a song come on, you will instantly recognize her voice once you know her music. So I think she's one of my secret weapons. And Samantha will be here. Marcus King Band, who is tight with Warren Haynes and Government Mule, and Government Mule will be here. So it's a real well-rounded and diverse group of musicians coming this year. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, well, I'm excited too. Look out for Steve Gumble and say hi to him if you see him in the festival.